Hey guys! Last time in Warrior Within I managed to make it to the Garden Tower despite my complete lack of skill at anything Prince of Persia related. I also killed a bunch of enemies so that I won't have to do that at the start of this video. So let's get right into tourism. Take a look around this garden and see what we can find when there's nothing attacking us. Interesting formations on the walls and floors that probably don't have anything to do with anything. And the damn birds! Always birds everywhere. Kick all the birds to death. Of course, I think you can safely just ignore them and keep running, but hate birds. Kind of statue in the middle. And a low wall with a door at the end. No obvious switches or levers or anything. And the bird kind of spontaneously combusts 3 seconds after I kick. I don't know. Another pool of water. Another flock of birds. And a chest, so it wasn't a complete waste of time exploring, if you like chests. What? Oh, now the birds are invisible. Perfect! Well, I can't get anywhere from up there, so let's just move on to the place I'm actually supposed to go. Like I said, you can get to this part before you kill all the enemies. Meanwhile, pick up a new weapon. And everyone saw this ladder was here, right? Hey, it's our old friend the Crow Knight. He's a lot easier to deal with the new sword. Got a bit too close to the wall there and wasn't able to block. Vault and slash, the only technique that's worth using. And now I gotta get over to that ledge to finish him off. Unfortunately, they provide a handy rope. And, I guess he fell off? Oh well, it's not like his sword is any good anyway. This is the place we have to go to. Nice, casual climb down a bunch of ledges. It's kind of nice when the game slows down a little bit and stops actually throwing challenges at you. I also kind of like it when you can actually hit the enemies. And then up the other side. Just make sure that it is the other side and that you're not just climbing up the same place you came from. Which is really easy to do because they look identical. But this one's got a save fountain. And now the actual garden part of the garden. With all kinds of mechanisms. And that lever, of course, must be where we're going because the game showed it to us. And this lever is not really so much of a puzzle, it's just a way of closing the door we came through before opening this one. And I'll see if I can catch that guy out by surprise here. They're getting strong enough that throwing a weapon at them isn't going to kill them. Comes close. And now time for a great big battle royale type fight scene. Except It's not everyone against everyone, it's just everyone against me. Well, that worked well. Not much of a trend, unfortunately, but I'll take whatever I can get. And I couldn't really get that to work. Yeah, trying to strangle that guy, not quite the best plan of attack. Yes, he's a bit strong to be stealing his weapon quite yet, and for some reason I can no longer climb up the wall. I don't know, this game just does all kinds of weird things. And now I got ninjas. And my vaulting skills are a bit lacking. Did that even hit him? Looks like it just disappeared. Alright, should be 2 more left, I think. Grab the chest while I got the opportunity. Fortunately, they go down in just one combo, and I guess that was the last of them, although the battle music's still playing. Anyway, this is a very well-hidden secret over here. You gotta drop down these well-hidden ledges. And this is probably the most annoying of all the life upgrades to get. Not only do you have to find it, and you can't even come back here late in the game. If you realize that you missed this one, it's gone. But you got all this climbing to do. We're not even at the trap-filled corridor yet. This is just the path to the trap-filled corridor. And nice simple jump. They're always the ones I screw up. Got plenty of masonry and pottery around to give us extra sand. And from here, we proceed downward. We're almost at the trap-filled corridor. Exciting. Completely not challenging, completely a waste of time as far as I'm concerned. But here are the actual traps, and you may remember these horizontal blades from Sands of Time. Again, very delicate timing issues. And somehow I stood up right into that log there. Almost dead. And well, at least I managed to jump straight up once and avoid the spikes. Okay, should be nearing the end now. And I don't think my timing could possibly have been worse. There we go. And finally the life upgrade. You can use the slowdown to get past certain parts of that, but for the most part it just means that if you still screw up, you've lost 2 sand tanks, one for the slowdown and one for the rewind. So I prefer to just go through that one at normal speed and have 3 rewinds available if I need them. And almost get his face full of spikes, as the traps are still deactivating. And some of them haven't finished deactivating. And I can't even wall run over these, so again, not realizing that they don't actually exist and it's just some kind of weird graphical thing, I figure walking through them is the safest path, you know. The thing that every previous Prince of Persia game has done. And Why is this the one place where the enemies respawn? Especially since I gotta listen to them yelling at me the whole time I'm climbing back up. Alright, a little trickier to get back. I don't think he can jump to that pole. He might be able to. But wall running is safer. Again, absolutely no challenge or threat or anything during this climb. Just climbing all the way back. At least it's not 4 buttons that you have to press in order. I really still don't understand that one. Okay, now about this fight. I don't feel like fighting all these guys at once, so grab the switch, and I could probably hit the slowdown and get to that wall, make the wall run up before getting caught by the enemies. But then I'd have to listen to them screaming the whole time I go through this area. I'd rather just do the fighting. I have a feeling this is a decision I'm going to regret. See if I can get rid of some of these ninjas before they throw all their knives at me. Okay, we should be down to just the ninjas now. And again, did that hit him? Did it just not do enough damage? Did it miss completely? I am flummoxed. Guess it would have been a good time to use the slowdown, but I think that's another one of those sand tanks that looks like it's there but isn't. Okay, that one hit. Okay, note to self. Throw weapons at ninjas. Always. Moving on. I do kinda like the way they force you to use the slowdown for a lot of the platforming puzzles from this point. But it does mean that you have considerably less flexibility to use your sand tanks for things like rewinding. Because, now you've got to have slowdown power. And while sand is plentiful, there are times when there just isn't anything around to break, and you got to go attempt to find something. Still, not much of a threat. Just something you need to be aware of. And all this travel to... camera angle. All this travel, taking the long way up to this ledge. And we're just going to be going right back to where we started eventually. But first, Crow Knight. I have no idea why he hangs in the air so long. Over there we got a closed door, behind which is the lever that the cutscene focused on for quite a while. That's how we know it's important. And that's the button that opens it. And there's the Crow Knight. Naturally, that sound means it was a timed button. Yep, I see how it's done. We activate that bridge, and then I'll be able to put something on top of the button to weigh it down and hold the door open. I mean, I guess you could try doing it with slowdown, but I don't think it's going to work. And now, while I'm pushing this box all the way across the bridge, I wanted to draw your attention to that door over in the corner at this level. Probably didn't do a very good job of pointing the camera at it, but eventually that door will be important. For now, ignore it. We've made it to the lever, which will turn on the water in the moat. Actually, I hope nobody thinks it's really that simple. That just turns on the water to the inner garden. We get a lot more puzzle solving. And we do have a nice shortcut to get back. I think at this point you can stop and drink the water that's flowing through, but I don't have any fighting to do before I get back to the save fountain, so not really much point. Instead, we'll just cross this narrow beam, and over there you can see a wall that's cracked and actually is in good lighting conditions. Still don't have any way to break it, but eventually we will. And for a long time I thought that was going to turn out to be a life upgrade, but it's not. I think that one might even be just a chest. And now, very simply, return to the inner garden. Ooh, looks like this guy respawned too. And one hit from the Crow Knight's sword, it already is half broken. What a useless weapon. And of course, we don't need to go down the same way we came up. There's a nice shortcut. Now, hopefully these guys didn't respawn. Oh, of course they did. And more birds. But I'll just take them out while I'm fighting all these other guys. You can block the bird. Okay, I'm kind of stuck in the tree. Physics. No, I'm not going to make a Sparta joke. I probably should, but I didn't. So now we actually just have to turn the lever to face the right direction so the water flows through the channel to, oddly enough, the place that already seems to have water in it. And now Statue Lady barfs into a bowl and it descends. And the door is half open. Now we just got to do the same thing over on the other side. Go ahead and move this one first. Oh, that's not the right channel at all. This one's tricky because instead of pointing it in the direction you want the water to go, you gotta point it over this channel. And the water's not even flowing to it yet, but that's another couple seconds away. I think you can stand on that platform, but We don't need to do it right now. And the door opens. We get to move further into the garden tower after about 20 minutes of putzing around in this part. It's slow progress, but very rewarding, right? Yeah, when you can actually run straight up the wall. And this time, at least, they decide to give us some little semblance of challenge by having a bird attack us. Okay, there goes all the challenge. Still, it's not all that bad. You don't have to spend 5 minutes climbing up. Guess what we get to do now? Buttons! Alright, this is the first one. No. Which one is the right button? Okay. You know, this whole thing makes me worried that maybe my game is already completely screwed up, but we'll see. I'm still probably over an hour away from finding out whether I can beat the game or not. Meanwhile, the buttons have done their job and totally pissed me off before I have to even go in the sand portal. Especially since we get the worst sand power. Breath of Fate. It's basically an area attack that costs a sand tank to use. It doesn't really do much but knock the enemies down. It's got its uses in a few places, but there's always a better way to use your sand. Next time, maybe I'll find a way to use it while exploring the Garden Tower of the Present. See you then.